All right, let's jump right in. This is your safe work practice explainer for installing tree protection. We're going to walk through everything you need to know to get this job done safely every single time. So let's be really clear about why we're here. This is all about the mandatory rules, the stuff that keeps you and your team safe on site. This isn't just about doing a good job, it's about making sure everyone goes home at the end of the day. First up, let's talk about the job itself, tree protection. The goal here is twofold, and both parts are critical. 1. We prevent injuries, period. 2. We make sure every single thing we do lines up with the site plans. No guesswork. Now, safety on site is a team sport. It doesn't work if only one person is paying attention. So let's get super clear on who's responsible for what, because everyone has a part to play. Okay, look at how these roles fit together. Your foreman, it's their job to make sure you're trained for the task, that you know the hazards, and that you have the right gear in your hands. Now, your role as the worker is just as important. You don't start any work until you're properly trained. You are the first eyes on the job. You identify hazards. You inspect every piece of gear. And here's the big one. If anything is damaged or doesn't feel right, you report it to your foreman immediately. No hesitation. So, you know your role. Now, let's talk about your gear. Having the right equipment in good working order is your absolute first line of defense out there. This right here is your standard safety toolkit for the job. You've got your hand tools, you need your delineators and tape to set up those control zones, you have your basic PPE and gloves, of course, and a first aid kit must be on site. The most important part, all of this gear has to be there, and it has to be inspected before any work kicks off. Okay, so you've got your gear, you know your responsibilities. What are the actual rules on the ground? Let's get into the specifics of what you need to do. Let's start with the mandatory do's. Think of these as your green lights. These are the actions you must take to get the job done safely and correctly. And this is the first and most critical step. Before a shovel hits the dirt, you review the arborist report and the site drawings. The rule is simple. Plan your work, then work your plan. This is what prevents big mistakes and keeps everyone safe. Let's run through the full checklist. First, you absolutely must notify BC1 call before any digging starts. No excuses. Second, you set up clear control zones with your delineators and tape. Make them obvious. Third, if there's mobile equipment around, a spotter is required, and you must be wearing high visibility gear. Also, take care of your body, stretch, take breaks, avoid those strains. And finally, inspect every single tool for defects before you use it. Every one of these steps is there to prevent an accident. Now for the other side of the coin, the mandatory don'ts. These are the red lines, the hard stops. If you find yourself doing one of these or you see it happening, you stop the work immediately. There are 0 exceptions. This one gets its own slide for a reason. You never, ever work within the safe distance of overhead power lines. This isn't a suggestion. This is the single most critical life or death rule we have. Know the distance, respect the distance, stay clear. Okay, let's go through the rest of the don'ts. First, don't leave your work area a mess. A cluttered site is just asking for slips, trips, and falls. Second, don't use the wrong tool for the job. That's how gear gets broken and people get hurt. And finally, don't rush your work and don't get into awkward positions. That is a one-way ticket to a muscle strain that could take you off the job. Take your time, position yourself right, and work smart. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's boil it all down to your final safety takeaway. I want you to think of this as the 4 essential checks you run on every single job. And here it is. It's a simple but powerful mantra. Plan, inspect, communicate, work safe. Plan your work by reviewing the documents. Inspect your gear and the site. Communicate with your foreman and your team. If you do those things, you will work safe. Make this your habit. It's how we all go home safe at the end of the day. Stay sharp out there.